Now, when you come to the 2611, I'd spoken to you earlier also in a couple of interviews on this. There are many pieces in the jigsaw puzzle. As I said, if Ajmal Kasab hadn't been caught, obviously the entire thing would have been blamed on the Hindu terrorist because he was wearing a sacred thread on his right hand and all that kind of stuff. But Mr. Mani, even we debated this earlier. How can a group of people carrying huge amounts of luggage pass through an Indian
Kolivada.
Forget the one before that, through the seas.
Through the seas.
I believe that they were detected before, but they were allowed to go. Is it true?
I will take you to the statement of Honorable P. Chidambaram, the Minister for Home Affairs, dated 11th December 2008. He gave in the Lok Sabha suo motu. It said, we had inputs. The Indian Navy had sighted the terrorists in the Pakistani waters. But later on, since no further inputs were forthcoming, they abandoned the surveillance. Now, this is the statement. This is more or less, it may not be ad verbatim, but certainly this is the statement which says. I have my reservations. I associated myself with security agencies. I know security agencies, I know their grain. If they cite a hostile element, even in Pakistan, they will lay in wait. They will never abandon. That is even a normal security guard in your society won't do it. An hostile element cited. And you have intelligence to back that.
And they let this boat go?
No, wait. Unless and until somebody else, superior, directs them to either redeployed there, they are redeployed to some other place. There is a possibility that they were redeployed to some other place, or directed to come back and dock back in the nearest port of call, so that that particular MV Hussaini can get a free passage into India.
No, let me put this in a very simple way to our viewers.
I said directions have come up from somewhere.
That's right. So I'm trying to put it in a very simple language to the viewers of Nationalist Hub. What Mr. Mani tells, and of course he doesn't tell many things because he cannot say many things on record, but somebody in the Government of India establishment asked the Indian Navy or the Indian Coast Guard, who was sighted that particular Pakistani ship or a boat, to back off and not track it from that point. They made an unhindered journey from the Pakistani waters to Mumbai. Everybody knows that 2611 is a game that was played between the Congress party and Pakistan. This was the first proof of it. But there's more to follow that. Mr. Mani, I remember this entire incident. Once they land in Mumbai, they walk through the Kolivada, which is a fisherman's village. An ordinary person traveling through a Kolivada in the evening, forget evening, even in the morning time, would be looked at with suspicion. Right. And here are a dozen young men carrying a lot of luggage with them, walking through that. What exactly would have been your thoughts if this had happened?
I don't think without the local support they would have walked through the Kolivada. Maybe, and local support not at the commoners level. Some leader of the Kolivada community, the fishermen's community, especially of that area or that state, coming from the coastal area, must have certainly given an indication, so that they were, the entire Kolivada was looking the other way when 10 people have swam across and come out on a dinghy to the Kolaba. After 2-3 kilometers they swam into the river, into the Kolivada. So it is not possible to believe that they walked through the Kolivada without being questioned even by one person or spotted by even one person.
One more question, Mr. Mani. Forget them walking through it. There was a source which helped them walk through it. We understand it cannot happen without internal thing. That point in time, I mean, I've been in Mumbai a number of times, and I'm sure that in an evening like that, to get a cab from a place like Kolaba, is it really possible? And they would have taken a dozen cabs, or at least 6 cabs at least minimum, to carry all those people. Is it possible to get cabs without local support?
Minimum 4 cabs they must have taken, because one to CST, one to Shabad House, one to Leopold, that's what Shabad House, yeah. One to this Trident, and one to Trident, and of course Taj. But the question again is, one is about the cab. Was there cars waiting? How did they travel? These are all questions which never got answered. And for the purpose of, again I spoke about the Lok Sabha start question 78 reply. When it was asked, in fact the text of the reply says, Ajmal Kasab has confessed to receiving local help, full stop. But the investigation agencies did not find merit or something like that.
I mean, here is a terrorist who is confessing,
right?
And investigating agencies are told
was the investigation process being managed from North Block? That's $1 billion question.
I mean, there are a lot of things actually went wrong. I remember distinctly you telling me that the NSG was sitting at the Delhi Technical Parliament area from 11:30 or maybe 12:30 in the
12 noon.
12
Actually,
midnight.
My information was midnight, but I think Sandeep Unnitan, another journalist, has also written on this. He is also saying that it was around 11:45 they reached. Around that time they reached, and for 2 hours they were sitting in the Parliament.
They were not allowed to take off for Mumbai, where there's a terror attack ongoing. People are being killed. And here is the NSG team sitting in an aircraft inside at the Delhi Parliament area, waiting for what?
For the minister to lead them.
Does the minister lead a commando operation?
I do not know. Let him go. I wish if we had been the case, he should have gone to Kargil.
This is Mr. Shivraj Patil.
This was Shivraj Patil.
Did somebody call Mr. Shivraj Patil's office or home to say that these people are waiting for you?
3 to 4 calls were made from the control room of MH8 and his office. There was a private additional PS or PA वहाँ पे. He said, मंत्री जी सो रहे हैं, अभी मैं आपको पूछ के बताता हूँ. It is not about this waiting. It is also as a first aid, as a first responder, let us pull out certain local resources of the security available in Mumbai, like the Central Industrial Security Force, who are
trained,
who are very well trained in vital installations like hotels and all, hotels, railway stations and all. We have the CRPF battalion in Navi Mumbai, any or Central CISF in Indian Mumbai Airport, CISF in Rashtriya Chemicals and Fertilizers. There are so many other central security forces were available, and it was all saying that let us, for the time you take your own time, let the energy go at their word whenever you are free will, but till that time let us do some sort of a damage control.
They are not allowed to come. CISF was
no response. See, he did not give any, we call it pocket veto. He simply pocketed the proposal and kept quiet.
A home minister of a country, an attack is going on. I'm sure the prime minister should not have slept that day night. I mean, does nobody in command?
I did not sleep that night. I do not know about.
In fact, that is another thing, Mr. Mani. I forgot. I mean, our viewers should know this. That Mr. Mani was the only gentleman in the control room that day, at a senior level, who was present. Where were the rest of the Ministry of Home Affairs officials?
They were all in a delegation. As I said, Home Secretary level talks with Pakistan in Islamabad.
On the day when the terror attack was happening.
See, what happened was the talks were only for 25th, but it was extended by 1 day because the Pakistanis left the agenda unfinished.
So 25th, when the terror attack was actually happening.
26th.
The 25th evening, they should have come back to India, the Ministry of Home Affairs officials.
Right.
They did not come back. They were persuaded by the Pakistanis to stay back for till 26th.
Right.
So that there would be nobody in the Ministry of Home Affairs when the attack actually happened.
Not only that, Rahman Malik, the Pakistani Interior Minister, gave them an appointment for a courtesy call and some protocol at 3 p.m. of Pakistan time. That is 3:30 p.m. Delhi time. And that also extended for some time, where he offered hospitality at Muri.
Which is the hill station?
Very close to the Islamabad, there is a hill station. But forget about being a hill station, the communication system at Muri at those days were very poor.
That means the Ministry of Home Affairs officials could not be contacted, or they could not contact anybody.
Exactly.
But I remember there was one officer who was not supposed to be in that delegation, who actually wormed his way into that delegation. Is it true?
Yes. See, you have to join the dots. I have spoken about a prominent politician from Maharashtra who is no more with us, representing the Kolivada community. We had also He used to wield a lot of power on the Koliwada. He had tried to divert the attention of the parliament and nation by giving priority to Hemant Karkare's murder, over the killing of 170 people in the Mumbai attack in the Rajya Sabha on 19th December 2008.
Again, it's a deliberate attack. Isn't it deliberately done?
Deliberately. His roles have to be seen. The introduction of a particular officer into the delegation who was not otherwise as per the functional domain and normal protocol not included. The suggestion, I would not call it a
I have
order,
a name. Do you want me to state that name?
No. Leave it. Anybody can check the book of 90 or my book or 19th. I have given the Lok Sabha debate in that. 19th December 2008 Rajya Sabha debate. All 3 pointers are given you. So the names you can find out from that book.
No, the very strange, as you rightly said, connecting the dots of 2611 makes a very disturbing reading. A lot of people have asked me, so okay, if this is done, why is the Modi government not conducting an inquiry? Maybe because they didn't want to bring out too many skeletons, because even the security officials would have got involved. Because I remember NSG reaching Mumbai 4.5 hours late and then told to wait in Mumbai airport because the minister wanted a protocol, guard of honor. There is a terror attack going on in the Taj.
The war, basically the war.
There's a war going on and the minister wants a guard of honor.
See, basically there are other issues also. Why the Modi government cannot really go in for a SIT. They must be aware of the facts and would have checked the papers, which I have also consulted. Because certain things, if it tumbles out, will allow Pakistan to grandstand.
They'll say, we did it, India did it.
Right. India recruited Pakistanis to do it, something like that. And number 2, we had shared all the evidences. We had shared several dossiers, but our great friend Mr. P. Chidambaram on the last week of 2011, March 2011, demolished the credibility of all the evidences by a single stroke. Let me make it very clear.
How did he do that?
See, we were always sharing evidences of Indian or fugitives from Indian law living in Pakistan several times, including evidences, records, everything. What he did was, in 2011 March, there was again this jamboree of Home Secretary level talks, and those who prepare the dossiers were deliberately not involved, and he gave it to a third party. Another investigation agency, government agency only, who were not adept at making the evidences. I do not know whether Chidambaram, because that was prepared by the caged pilot. Those days the caged pilot, parrot.
As the Supreme Court said.
As it was. And there were 2 glaring mistakes of people whose name appeared in the dossier were found to be in Indian jails.
So again, it was deliberately done.
It was deliberately done. What happened? Pakistan started grandstanding, saying that, look, your dossiers are all bloody bunch of lies. See, this fellow is already there. Other may also be living in India. So Chidambaram has done it. That is the reason the government is not able to reopen the case, because it will allow the Pakistan to grandstand.